Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Show, the space where we spotlight leaders, creators, and change makers who are building greatness from inside out. And I'm your host, Mireille Aka, the Greatness Engineer. It is a pleasure to have you today again. And I'm actually tuning in all the way from Perth, Australia. And today episode, it's going to be a powerful episode, I think, a soulful and also deeply inspiring, I hope for you. And I really, want you to be with us and to participate if you're watching live, and don't hesitate to ask any question. This show is for you, and as I always said, it is for you to get inspired and get to have some tools and tips that you can use to go to the next level of your greatness. And my guest today is the celebrated jazz saxophonist and multi-instrumentalist, and he's going to actually tell us exactly how he managed to reach that stage. His name is Charles Lanford, and he's also known for his mastery across different instruments: the tenor, the alto, the soprano, the saxophones, like I just mentioned. And we will really learn a lot. And we're going to focus on his last song, which is called "I Told You So." So we'll discover the new song and also learn exactly how it came to be. So don't hesitate to, like I said, to ask any question. Let us know where you're watching from, and I hope you will enjoy this episode. So sit tight, and I'm bringing Charles today with us. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Viret Lekima Global Leadership Organization.
Real is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily action.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others. And you are not alone. So welcome, Charles, to the Greatness Engineering Show. It is a pleasure to have you and to really get to know, your journey and how you empower people through your music. But before we start our conversation, just wanted to ask you to add to the short introduction that I made about you. And we really want to understand how you managed to get where you are right now.
Ah, thank you for having me, Ray. I got here just by, not giving up, and I think that's probably the most important aspect. I mean, I've started playing music when I was 9 years old, and I didn't really get the passion until, you know, well, I was passionate about it when I was about 10, but I went through a lot of trials and tribulations throughout my life, but I always stayed true, coming back to music and trying to improve and follow in the footsteps of the masters before me. So that's pretty much.
Yeah.
I didn't give up.
And that's that's an important thing to to do, never give up. And I'm actually quite impressed, when I was preparing this show, impressed by the number of instruments that you play. And I'm really curious to know, how do you decide, how which instrument best fit, the song that you're gonna sing, and whatever, which instrument you're going to use when you are on stage, because there's really a lot to choose from.
Yeah. Well, my I try to let the music speak, and try to be receptive to what I think the music calls for. So I try not to get in the way of the music and try to be as true as I can to what I think where it should go.
Hmm. So it's more a feeling type of thing, and then you adapt more than a decision that you make up front, from what I understand then.
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right. And so you've actually, I mean, you have an interesting journey, and I could see that you were mentored by some master in the industry, the jazz icon. And I just wanted to know how much, because you said that you've had quite a lot of challenges building your career. So I just want to understand what you learn from those icons, and how they inspire you to become the best version of yourself right now.
Mm. Uh, like I said, not giving up, and being true to music, and having a consistent work ethic. Trying to do it on a daily, practicing daily, and yeah, on basics. I think that's really a lot of people look for the glitz and glamour, but it's really, for me, it's all about the basics, the fundamentals, scales.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just like I was one of, in my early development when I was living in New York City, great saxophonist Junior Cook. I was like, how do you do that? How do you get to be this level? And he said, I just practice all that boring stuff, the scales every day, scales. So,
Hmm. Hmm. So what is a typical day for you? Because obviously you said you practice, but what would be a typical day, for you to, and understand that, okay, this is a fruitful day. This is a day where I'm really growing. So what type of day can we expect from Charles, the
oh,
saxophonist and the
so
talented artist?
uh, it's not too glamorous. I start off my day praying, and I meditate, and then depending what I have that day, but I always put aside 3 or 4 hours to practice my saxophone and my other instruments, and well, primarily saxophone, and that's my daily regimen. I have a routine that I do, and, and then I'll go to the gym, um, cook, and I have a wife and 2 kids, and we're taking care of my mother. So me and my wife split up the cooking duties, and
Wow.
And if I have, and I'm actually working on an album, so that as well, I'll, work on writing and trying to do, just stay on task, trying to complete things. That's one of my challenges for me is how to do get everything, having a structure so that I can do all the things that I need to do. So I have to write stuff down a lot and make sure that I complete my tasks throughout the day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's also, probably a challenge because you said you have a family, you have a mom that you're taking care of. So really finding the time and integrating everything, to not only serve you but also serve your family
Yeah.
is also, something that you really need to work on and to keep your inspiration going. So your last song is really trending. I told you so, and I understand that it's a powerful and personal, song that you've actually published. So, what is the deeper story, behind this song, and who is this song actually speaking to?
Well, the song is I rewrote it with Michael Broning. I mean, like writing music with another person is, it's kind of a challenge because you want to allow other people to have their say as well. So I don't want to be the total dictator of the song, although it is
Mm-hmm.
under my name. So I want to, but I want to, especially playing jazz. Jazz is like one of them. It is probably the most democratic music. It's,
Mm.
it has to have other people say. So uh, I have to give that person their voice because it's a conversation. And so that going into writing a music with someone else, I have to be open to what they're saying and try to work with the template that they're using, and then try to add to it and,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
to make it swing and be soulful and have all the aspects of that I think should be um, available when you're when I'm listening to a song. So the things that I enjoy. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And what did you learn? I mean, because there's always a learning when we go through a process. So what did you learn about yourself while you were creating this record with, working with, different people, not just, having to do it yourself. So what did you learn about yourself for that
Mm.
process?
That I am unique. That my approach to melody is different than others, and it's okay to not sound like. And it's really that's one of the things I really strived for. I didn't want to sound like anyone else. I want to have my own voice, so that someone goes,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's such and such. I want to be Charles. So,
Mm-hmm.
and,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that's one of the things that I found that I am unique.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
it
definitely.
can become difficult, and I understand, perfectly when you said I really want to learn that, I and believe that I am unique, because as you grow in popularity you can lose yourself. It is important that you get grounded and really understand that you are unique, you have your own way to do things, you have your own inspiration, and you want to keep your voice, because your voice can get diluted into the the popularity, and that's what's up did happen to a lot of artists or a lot of people. So we will have a short break, and then we will be back to understand a little bit more about your journey, and really focusing on your last record as well. For those joining us today, my guest is Charles Lanford, and we are in the US today, not maybe in the Caribbean now, because Charles is in the Caribbean today. and I hope that you can join us. And if you have any question, just, as mentioned, just let us know if you have a question for Charles. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in a few minutes. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Mireille Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
When I left Disney, I met lots of people who are entrepreneurs and just said, look, I'm starting. What advice do you have for us? And I got some great advice. And there was a few things that were key. First of all, and as you saw in the video there, keep it simple. Be simple about what problems you solve.
But what are you hoping for? That means that there's a future. That means that there's something that you yet still need to be realized and materialized in your life. And if you have lost hope and you're not hoping for something, that means you're lost. So we need to get you back to the place of being able to hope again.
Trust the process. So many times we get stuck and paralyzed from taking the first step and taking action to get out of that transactional to the transformational of our own lives because we're afraid. But trust the process. Take that one little microscopic step. And I tell you that once you do that, that will increase into another step and another step and another step. So that's what I'd like to leave with you today.
My message for today is delay is not denial. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to accomplish what it is you want to accomplish in life. Do not stop until you get what it is you know God has for you.
So we are back with Charles, and we are getting to know him. He's a saxophonist and he's playing also other instrument, and he's been in the jazz industry for almost for decades now. So as someone, who has been in this jazz industry for decades, what do you believe, separate the artists who last for a long time from those who fade away? Because it is a challenge, to be consistent and to come up with, new records and keep going. So what do you think makes the difference?
I think like perseverance and not trying to do what you did last time. Trying to stay moving forward and connecting with your audience, and ask them what they like, like especially with live shows, trying to see what works, and what the people really are gravitating towards, and following your heart and where you're trying to go. I think that's really important too. Like what you're doing and make sure that it pleases you, because you're the first audience anyhow. So, I'm the audience, yeah. So.
Yeah, and did you get any, did you get inspired by certain people, or do you have an inspiration that was the basically help you to break through, and I know you said, you're not here to emulate, or, you want to keep your voice, but any inspiration that actually, help you to keep going? Because I can understand that during those difficult moments, you need, you need passion, you need inspiration. So any inspiration in your life, it can be someone in your life or someone in your industry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially when I was starting off my, like Grover Washington, John Coltrane, Charlie Parker, they're at the top of their craft, and I fell in love with their music, and I emulated them quite a bit, you know, and Joe Henderson and so many great saxophonists that inspired me. Flautist Dave Valentine, he's one of my big inspirations. Hubert Laws and his brother Ronnie Laws. So I had, you know, and then seeing how they craft their music and how they, you know, learning the language of jazz. You know, it's you know, you have to be able to master your instrument, but you also have to learn the language because it's totally different than playing classical music. You know, like it's that's a written form of music, and being able to improvise and not repeat yourself and trying to come up with new things. So I mean, it's a lot of slipping and falling and going, oh, I like that thing, you know, and so it's a lot of that, and that's inspiring because it keeps it fresh, you know. Making a lot of mistakes helps. Yeah. We all make mistakes, and none of us are perfect. So I try to not be too hard on myself when I mess up, and because you know, I'm human and I have flaws, but I just try to learn from them and pick the mistake, because sometimes the mistakes are nice.
Yeah, there are lessons. Yes.
Yes, for sure.
And that they help. It's you know, the mistake are feedback to help us to rectify and expand. So that's something that we will always have in our life. And you know, just talking about it on a follow up. When did you feel like, you know, when was the moment in your career where you start feeling that, okay, I truly belong to this high level in my industry? Is there a particular moment that you know, that defined that particular feeling in you?
Oh, I I mean, I have insecurities, and but I try to not let them I try to keep them at bay, because you know sometimes I'll go into a situation, especially like playing music that I'm not familiar with, like with other artists. So, and like I've been in a situation where the music was so challenging. I'm like, it's so complicated, and but then I try not to just look at it and just try to be more open to the feeling, and then I'm more in tune with the music, and yeah, I think I think that's important for me, is just to be able to be more in tune, you know, just to listen. That's one of the things that I've learned the most, you know.
Yeah, and I just heard you said that, you know, jazz is a language, and I really like that. So what do you want? Because since it's a language, so what do you want your music to say when you play? You know, what type of message do you want to convey when you play, or when you create a record, or when you're really playing one of the instruments?
I try to play from my heart, and I'm hoping that people feel peace. You know, I'm not trying to create music that's going to cause strife, but I also do think that strife is important, like tension, and you know, depending on the situation, some pieces of music are can be angry, you know, it can be, you know. So I guess since I've been the last couple of years, I feel how important music is. I've come to realize that I mean, I've always loved music, but I have a deeper understanding of my role in music. During the war with Ukraine, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, a man sent me a message on Facebook, and he said how my music was helping him through the, giving him peace and comfort through the war. And I was like, that really touched me. That really touched me. So,
I can imagine.
it's inspiring. It's inspiring, and my little bit is helping someone. So I was very humbled by that. Very humbled.
Wow, that's very inspiring, especially knowing what they have to go through, and really reaching out to say your music is bringing peace to me. It's just an amazing feeling. And you just following on that, with I told you so, what kind of emotion or message do you have, do you want do you hope the listener to take away from that records? I presume there's the piece that you mentioned, but anything else that this particular records will bring to the listeners?
Well, it's kind of a fun song. It's playful, and it's I wanted something that would just feel good music. That's what I was thinking about when I wrote this tune. I was thinking of just having a good time, and just that's what I was really thinking. It wasn't. The title came after I wrote the song, so I was like trying to figure out, what am I going to call this? I was just thinking about, I was just having fun and just trying to make something that I enjoyed, and hope that someone else would like it as well.
And how do you get your inspiration? Because I'm just trying to figure out, the process of, the birth of a song, and, how, like you mentioned, and then the title that you give it. Is there a particular process that you follow, or is again something that come out of inspiration? And how do you get that inspiration? Do you need to put yourself in a certain setting to get the inspiration flowing? I understand when people write books, some of them think about the book when they are in the forest or somewhere. So I don't know what is the best for you to get those records going.
So when I wrote this, I started with a little template that Michael Broning sent me, and and so I listened to it a bunch, and then I just played with it, and then I just kept playing with it, and then something stuck, and I was like, "Ooh, I like this, I like that," and every song seems like they're different. They come in different ways. I've had songs I'll be sleeping, and then all of a sudden, boom, I got this melody in my head, and so I have to go and record it. Or I've sometimes I've written for TV where I have to come up with music, and I'll start with maybe just a drum groove or something, and then come up with a bass line, and I do it that way. Or I might start with a melody first, or just a chord progression. Because I play piano as well for writing, so that's I write a lot from piano. But what I guess one of the distinctions about I Told You So is I wrote that from the saxophone. I didn't write it from the piano. So
okay, wow. So that's amazing, because I'm always really inspired and always curious to know, when I talk to artists, to really understand how, the it's either the book or have a, song, how it came about. And you hear a different, really different story and different setting for them to come up with, the best, the best records of the best book. And it's just amazing to hear. So we're gonna have another break, and we will be back for the last part of the show. So if you're joining us, we are, in the Caribbean today. We're supposed to be in the US, but we are in the Caribbean today. And we have Charles Langford with us. And Charles is an artist, and he plays a different, instrument, from the saxophone to piano to, all kind of, instrument that, and I'm really impressed to know that. So don't go anywhere. We will be back for the last part of the show. So we are back. We are back with Charles. And Charles, there is a question that I really love, asking my guest, and it's really about your legacy. So, what legacy do you want, to leave? Not only in jazz, but also in the heart of people, the people that are following you or listening to your music.
I want them to think that I'm a good person, I'm kind-hearted, loving father, So that's I am passionate about my music, and try to leave the world with some really pretty notes.
And leaving the world better than better than you find it, because there's so much going on, and people are going through a lot of challenges right now. And I know that music can be a good a good support for people to find. You mentioned the example of one of your someone who reach out to you for peace, for inspiration, and to go to the next level, and really overcome all the obstacles that are coming our way. So just wanted to ask you, how do people connect with you if they want to, know a little bit more about your music, and also get to know, your story, and also access your music? So how do they do that?
So you can find me on my website, charleslangfordmusic.com. That's one way. Thank you. Yeah. And I have links to music, and you can reach out to me if you want to chat or whatever.
Okay. All right. So yes. So thanks for your time today, Charles. And it's been a pleasure speaking with you and really understanding, your journey, and understanding, what the music means to you, and how you empower people, inspire people through the different, the different song that you actually publishing, and for us to listen in the in around the world. So where can we find your music, and especially the I Told So as well, for the people listening? How do they get access to that records and other records that you've actually had before?
So my music is available on all the digital platforms. YouTube, it's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, it's everywhere. So anywhere that you buy music, you could find me, and it's just look for Charles Langford.
Fantastic. And just to give you a little bit, the visual on the last records, they are told so. And so you can listen to the song on all the digital platform. So don't hesitate to reach out to Charles as well if you have any question, if you want to know anything, because he's also touring, so you might want to be attending one of his events as well. So you have just reach out through his website, and that should be that should actually help you to get an insight on what he's doing and where it is. So thank you again, Charles, for being with us today, for your time. I know it's a precious time, and for sharing your inspiration, and how you did travel for now several decades in the jazz industry. I don't know if you want to leave us with a message, a particular message before we leave the platform, something that you want the listeners and also the viewer to remember before we leave this platform today.
All things are possible, and you can do wherever you set your mind to do. So that's it. Yeah.
So never give up. Everything is possible. And that's exactly the message that we're carrying here in this show. And that don't forget that the greatness, to go to the next. You have greatness is unlimited. It is inside of you. You just need to unleash it, and it's from the inside out. So don't let it dormant inside of you. Just make sure you unleash it, and you go to the next level of your greatness. So that's all for today. That was the Greatness Engineering Show with Mireille and with my guest today, Charles Lanford. And don't forget to check out Charles' latest single on most of the digital platform. And the name of the single is I Told You So. Thank you very much for being with us today. We will be back for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Show next week. And I hope that you'll be able to join us as well. So thank you very much and see you soon.